Hey, this is Adam June. I'm doing my video blog of the New Student Dialogues. The New Student Dialogue that I attended was the intersection of religion and spirituality. It discussed how religion and spirituality are two different concepts, but how they intertwine and how they affect each other. We talked about how religion seemed to be a more organized, widespread attempt to connect with a greater figure in the universe, and how spirituality was just mainly about your own personal morality and beliefs. But then we also discussed how your own personal morality and beliefs affects religion, and how religion, how the way you were raised and the way you were taught to think affects the way your own morals work, which is basically what the whole dialogue was about. A lot of individuals shared their own personal beliefs. I do believe that we achieved dialogue as it was described by the group leaders when we first met each other. We discussed how dialogue should always be open and it should be respectful and kind to everybody's opinion. And I believe we achieved that. There might have been some misunderstandings or slight disagreements, but I do believe that all of the opinions were respected amongst the individuals that were there, because it never really got out of hand. It was always low key, and it was always everybody took what everybody else said and tried to incorporate it in how they thought and how they believed things. There were a couple active voices in the dialogue. I felt that there were just a couple people that were just more outgoing, and then there were some individuals who didn't necessarily even really want to be there. It was just something that they had to do. But I believe that the group leaders did a good job of incorporating everyone into the discussion, and by handing out assignments at the beginning where everybody had to put their opinion down, and we discussed those opinions and how the different people felt about certain things, whether it be race, social status, economic status, how that also affects the decisions you have to make when it comes to religion and spirituality. I do believe that I contributed a fair amount to the discussion. I discussed my own beliefs as a Christian, but I also described how I felt that the spiritual aspect was more important than an organized religious aspect, because I don't necessarily agree with any particular denomination of the Christian church, but I do believe I am a Christian and I do agree with Christian values. There was also a lot of other discussions. There were various classes, not really classes, but the way people thought. There were different groups. There was some agnostics who didn't know really what they thought, but they did agree that spirituality was important in today's world. And then there were groups who were atheists who didn't necessarily believe in anything. And then the various denominations of the Christian faith. I don't really think we had any Muslims or Jewish people. I'm not sure if they were. I guess they were one of the more reserved voices who didn't speak up much. Actually, one of the group leaders talked about how her own opinion changed from when she started doing these new student dialogues because of the various ways people thought about it. She talked about how she thought that the Christian religion was wrong, but after doing dialogues and discussing how other people viewed that religion, she changed her beliefs and thought that there might be actually some parts of Christianity that was a good thing. Despite all this, though, while I was interested in what the various people had to say in the dialogues, I don't necessarily believe that it should be a part of the transitioning experience. Personally, from transitioning, I've discovered that there were several problems you have to do. You have to try to keep your grades up to get good scholarships. You have to worry about all the little things about transferring, getting all your correct information in, making sure your GPA goes through. and then having to worry about going to meetings and then turning in assignments on top of that really doesn't help the situation at all. But on the flip side, when you go to these dialogues, you do meet a lot of people and you discuss what they view and you like get your own feelings out in the open, which is helpful when coming into a new environment, so you actually do form some connections and feel more comfortable in that environment. But I still don't think that it should be part of the transitioning process. I do think that it is an interesting idea and that people would go to these things if they weren't forced to, just because of the various topics you could discuss. Because I know for a fact that there was probably about 10 of the different new student dialogues that all looked interesting. It's hard to decide which one to go to, but I don't really think that that should be part of Library 100. Um, it's not really necessary in the experience. And besides that, though, I do think that the new student dialogue, the intersection of religion and spirituality, helped me understand my own religion and spirituality better and how others viewed it. And it gave me a lot to think about different people's views and my own views and how they could possibly change. The new student dialogue also made me more aware of what was going on, and it made me want to become more. It made me want to go and learn more about my own religion, things I might not have known. But it also made me want to think about other people's religions and other people's spirituality and how they approach things, just to understand that there are different approaches and that they each have their own significant value and that it would be good to understand them. So that is what I gained from my new student dialogue.